I gave up the glory of being a genius racer and quietly became her co-driver for 10 years. Yet, on the day she won the F1 championship, she gave the trophy to her sweetheart right in front of everyone. That night, she sweetly posted, "My lucky prince just said yes to my proposal," along with a picture of them snuggling together. I hit like on the post and handed in my resignation. 7 days later, a genius racer named William burst onto the scene. The day after I turned in my resignation, Bella's call finally came, late as always. As soon as I picked up, I got an earful. "Why are you throwing a tantrum? Resign? You think you can threaten me by quitting? Don't think for a second I can't do without you." Just as Bella was gearing up to continue her rant, a man's voice cut in on the other side. "William, can't you just stay with Bella? You've been a team for 10 years. She's been with you all this time without even a heads up before making our relationship public. It's not fair to you. But you know Bella doesn't like you that way. She's always seen you as a brother. Bella and I have been together for a while too. We only kept it under wraps to spare your feelings." Then Bella's impatient voice chimed in. "Why are you explaining anything to him? Our relationship doesn't need his approval. It's better if he leaves so we don't have to worry about his feelings anymore. William, she needs you. You know her best after all these years. Without you, her career will be affected." The man's smooth talking was nauseating. I held back the urge to swear, about to speak when Bella interrupted again. "You can quit if you want. I've been sick of you for a while now, always meddling. You think I couldn't have you in the club for 10 years without me? There are lots of co-drivers better than you. I kept you around because I pitied you. You'll regret walking away from me." She then turned to the guy with a tenderness she never showed me. "Don't worry, William's just throwing a fit. I know him well. He's threatened to quit before and ended up taking it back. You rest some more. I know yesterday wore you out." I suddenly felt heartbroken. These past 10 years I'd been nothing but a joke. Apparently, she could speak kindly to someone, just not me. "Bella, I've already given my resignation to the club. We're done." I hung up before Bella could say another word. Soon, a flood of messages bombarded my phone. "You've got some nerve hanging up on me first." It hit me. I'd been so weak before, never hanging up on her. Answering her calls was automatic, waiting for her to end the call, trying to please her. Apologize and beg for my forgiveness, or don't expect to work for me again as a co-driver. I found it laughable. In the past, I would have apologized immediately when she showed the slightest hint of anger. Whether I was right or wrong, I'd always take the blame to make her happy. I'd beg forgiveness regardless of fault. But Bella's anger always meant it was my fault. I'd become the one constantly saying sorry, and so she fearlessly loved someone else. Yet Bella was the one who kept giving me hope. She once said, "William, wait for me. I'll confess to you after I win F1. I had nothing to offer back then, so couldn't promise you anything." But when she finally won, there was no confession. Only a proposal to another guy. I grabbed my phone and blocked Bella on everything. Then a call came from an unknown number. I answered. Sobbing on the other side, a familiar voice tried to calm me. "William, don't blame Bella. You blocked her everywhere. You must be so mad. It's my fault. Bella needs you, and if you really can't stand me being with her, I'll break up." The hypocrisy was infuriating. I listened as Bella tried to comfort him. I smirked sarcastically. "All right then, break up with Bella. But not just talk, have her make a statement." The sobbing halted. The atmosphere turned chilly. Gary seemed stunned I actually said that. After a pause, the sobbing resumed more intensely. Bella's angry voice snapped, "William, is this necessary? You know I don't love you, right? Why should I break up with Gary? Even if I did, I'd never want someone like you. I was blind to think you were a good guy. Thank goodness Gary came back. Otherwise, dating you would have been disgusting." Before I could reply, Bella hung up first. Although I'd already decided to leave, and I'd seen through Bella's true colors, the call ending still hurt, just for a moment. But I'd only allow myself that brief feeling. Bella was right. I have no right to tell them to break up. I was never even her boyfriend, no standing to interfere with her love life. We met at the racetrack when I was already being secretly groomed as a racer by the club. She was just a rookie, ambitiously aiming for an F1 championship, oblivious of reality. She thought I was just like her, so she invited me to join her club. I was drawn by her big talk and left my old team. Then started the long journey of being together, the long chase. To be with her, I volunteered to be her navigator. This lasted for a whole decade. During those 10 years, I confessed my feelings countless times. Each time she'd say, "William, I know how you feel about me, but I have nothing right now. Will you wait for me until I win the F1 championship? I want to confess to you with that trophy." I believed her when she looked at me with such sincerity. During this time, my old team reached out countless times, wanting me to come back. They said I was born for racing and it was a pity I'd give it up for one woman. But I, blinded by what I thought was love, became a silent navigator. Because I believed in Bella, I wanted to help her win that F1 championship. I wanted her to confess to me without any burdens. "William, I've made a lot of progress this time. Trust me, it won't be long before I can confess to you. I want everyone to know how great the woman you love is. Just wait a little longer." Those promises made me feel like the happiest man in the world. But then, Gary came back into her life. Gary was the new racer they signed at the club, smart and handsome. He was also Bella's first love. Gary was someone Bella could never let go of. Her obsession with winning the F1 championship was actually because of a promise with Gary. At first, I didn't pay attention. I believed time would change everything. I naively thought that being with Bella for so many years had already replaced Gary. But later, I slowly realized I was wrong. The time I spent with Bella gradually decreased. She would disappear when she should have been training. I'd call her, and she'd always be with Gary. "Today, you're not training? I'm with Gary, we're doing a simulation lap." Or Gary is feeling down, affecting his racing. I'm taking him to the beach to cheer him up. Or Gary's sick. I have to take care of him. Could you make some chicken soup? Bella spent more and more time with Gary, even asking me to help take care of him. I once asked her, "Have you fallen for Gary again? Will you still confess to me?" That question seemed to hit a nerve, and she'd scold me for being unreasonable. I told you, once I win the F1 championship, I'll confess to you. Do you think I'd lie? I'm just helping Gary because he needs it. We're both racers, there's a mutual understanding. Great, the term racer made Bella seem to forget that when we first met, I was a racer too. Stop making stuff up. I think you're just bored. You can find something else to do, you know? Aren't you tired of focusing on me all the time? Hearing these words really hurt. Being there for her turned into having nothing to do. Being there for her turned into me being annoying. But she was the one who initially said, "William, I want to be with you every day. With you as my navigator, I feel I can definitely succeed." I went to the club to resign. For the last time, I saw the race car I'd shared with Bella countless times. This time, I got in the driver's seat, put on the helmet, started, shifted gears, hit the gas, and the car took off like lightning. After a few laps, I finally understood how foolish I'd been. I gave up chasing my dreams for Bella, accompanying her in a pursuit that wasn't mine. But who could I blame? Only myself for loving the wrong person. I chose to believe and accompany over and over, and forgot about the person I once was. Now, I want to find that person again. I took out my phone and dialed that number. "I'm coming back. Bella, this time I'm really leaving. No more waiting for an empty confession." After leaving the club, I contacted the landlord to cancel the lease. For 10 years, Bella and I shared a place, and I looked after every detail. Since I decided to leave, I didn't want the house anymore. Looking around at everything I had added, I grabbed garbage bags and started tossing things in. I doubted she ever appreciated them. Cleared out, I packed my stuff, left the keys at the door, shut the door, walked away. Once, I gave up everything as a racer for Bella. Now, I'm going to win it back. By the time Bella got the notice from the landlord, I was already leaving in a car. She called using Gary's phone. "Where'd you go? Why'd you block my number?" The landlord said, "You canceled the lease, what's going on?" A string of questioning. "Aren't you at Gary's? Why don't you just move in with him? Why bother about my lease?" I replied coldly, "William, I'm asking about you. Where I live is none of your business. Care about you. Don't be so ungrateful. Go lease the house again and make dinner tonight. I'll bring Gary over and maybe you can apologize. He cried a lot over you quitting. Her saying this so naturally left me speechless. That's when I realized just how little the person I'd loved for 10 years cared. Seeing my silence, she got impatient over the phone, urging, "You better hurry. The produce at the market won't be fresh much longer. Remember not to put green onions. Gary doesn't like them. And buy shrimp. Gary likes them." She kept talking about what Gary likes. Turns out she could pay such attention to someone. And I'm allergic to shrimp, something Bella didn't remember. By then, I only felt deep disappointment toward her. I knew Bella didn't love me, but I didn't know she never cared. Even as friends, after 10 years, she should have known something about me. After all these years, I cooked for her countless times. I never bought shrimp, and she never noticed. Once I had a fever and was too weak to cook. She brought me some porridge. When I smelled it, I told her I'm allergic to shrimp. Back then, she swore there'd never be shrimp on our table again. But now she wants me to make shrimp for Gary? She's got no heart, right? She never remembers what I like, but she knows all of Gary's favorites. That's the difference between love and not love. I coldly replied, I quit. Sensing my attitude, Bella softened her tone suddenly. "William, can you stop talking about quitting all the time? Come back and I won't hold grudges." I was fed up with Bella's superior tone. I said I quit. I'm out. My words really ticked off Bella, and she angrily said, "Had enough of playing around? Are you kidding me, making me think you're leaving for Real? Want me to beg you back? Not gonna happen. Tonight I expect a meal ready, or there's no chance I'll ever let you be my navigator again." Funny, Bella thinks this is some reverse psychology trick. She's just relying on my love for her. She enjoys my efforts, but she never really cares about me. I couldn't be bothered to talk to her anymore, so I hung up. Soon I got to the club entrance. As I got out of the car, Anna approached. I smiled and said, "Hi, I'm back." With that, I walked in, everything familiar. I quickly made my way to my old race car. Anna glanced at me. "Kept it just for you, go take it for a spin." I smiled and nodded. When the car sped off, I felt alive again. After parking, I noticed countless missed calls and texts from unknown numbers, but I knew they were from her. This time I didn't even look and just tossed the phone aside. Yup, time for a new one, a fresh start. Turns out, someone nearby recorded my track runs at the club and posted it online. Everyone assumed it was Gary, 'cause not just anyone can drive Bella's car. In her club, Gary's the only male racer, so they didn't think of anyone else. Lots of people started shipping Bella and Gary. Wow, no wonder Gary's driving skills are top-notch, winning Bella's heart. Gary is awesome. He and Bella are such a perfect match. I'd love to see Gary showcase again. His skills are better than Bella's. Anna came to me with the video. "It was you, right?" My eyes widened as I nodded, not expecting to be filmed. Anna laughed. "Yeah, you've gotten even better. Lucky I called you back, or we'd lose a gem. And hey, aren't you gonna set the record straight? These skills got wrongly credited, you know." I shook my head and couldn't help noticing the trending comments about Bella. To everyone's surprise, Bella's comment was, "Gary's skills have always been better than mine." Netizens wondered if Bella was bragging about her love. But only I knew. Bella knew it wasn't Gary, but she defended him anyway. That day, both Bella and Gary were together elsewhere, never even visited the club. If it was Gary, Bella would know best. Yet she handed the honor to Gary because, in her eyes, he's the only one who deserves it. She must be head over heels for Gary, while I'm just a passing phase in her life. Leaving her was the best decision I made. Just then, another video surfaced online. The footage showed me smoothly drifting to a stop in the race car's original spot. Then a figure stepped out, removed the helmet, revealing my face. The internet exploded. How come this guy looks nothing like Gary? Wasn't it supposed to be Gary in that car? Could Gary have claimed credit to ride the hype? Such nerve. Someone recognized me. Isn't that Bella's navigator? With skills like that, he's wasted as just a navigator. His technique, the maneuvers, the predictions, just stunning. And that drift, truly perfect. The discourse about me kept growing. More people started criticizing Gary. Then, the person who posted the video released a statement. The racer in the video is Gary. It was my attempt to steer opinions using AI technology. Bella and Gary quickly went live to clear things up. In the stream, Gary played the innocent. I just casually drove Bella's car once, not expecting such a fuss. Someone even doctored footage with AI. If not for Bella contacting that poster, who knows how long I'd be blamed. I chuckled, watching. No limits to their antics. Contacting the poster, probably just threw a wad of cash. Bella gazed at Gary with gentle eyes. I coached Gary in his technique. I know best who's in that video. It's Gary. As for my navigator, there's no way it's him. He's been with me for 10 years. If he had these skills, he wouldn't need to be my navigator. Upon hearing this, Gary donned a helpless look. Bella, don't talk about William like that. It's not his fault. But Bella sneered. He might have even bribed the poster intentionally. Gary quickly jumped in. Don't think William's that bad. The online community finally got it, with a little help from Bella and Gary. Oh, I've been saying the guy in the video must be Gary. He's handsome and skilled. Truly impressive. Gary even defended the navigator. I believe it was that navigator who did it on purpose. Exactly, why else is he just a navigator and Gary a racer? Totally not in the same league. Anna watched it all unfold. Are you just gonna let them talk trash about you? I smiled at Anna. When's the next fastest race? In 7 days. Wouldn't a live comeback be better? Anna laughed. You really shouldn't mess with you. I smirked. Time to strike back. 7 days later, the championship was packed. All eyes were on Gary, the rising star, because of that viral video. Everyone couldn't wait to see him on the track. When Gary and Bella showed up, the crowd went wild. Cheers were for them, while I quietly got into my car. I touched the car and smiled for the first time in a while. This time, we're back in the game. Soon, the roaring engines filled the track. Cars sped off like wild horses. The commentator got excited. It's Bella. All right, with F1 champion skills, no doubt. Following her is Gary. Definitely the rookie everyone's watching. The crowd cheered with praise from the commentator. Suddenly, shock in the commentator's voice. Wait, Bella's been overtaken. Who's in that car? By the time words were out, I had already shifted gears, leaving them both in the dust. I completed 50 laps at 59 minutes and 59 seconds, beating Bella by a full 2 minutes, while Gary didn't even make the top 10. Upon taking off my helmet, everyone's gaze turned to me. Someone exclaimed, "Isn't that Bella's navigator? No way, he's that good?" Reporters swarmed me with questions. Congrats on the win, William. I returned the smile. A sharp reporter asked, was that you in the online video? Just as I was about to answer, Bella marched over with Gary. Bella looked livid. William, you can drive. Why didn't you ever say anything when you're this good? I was about to speak when Anna stepped up. Bella, William's our club's driver, not your navigator. Watch your words and don't boss our champ around. That piqued the interest of the reporters. William, so you left Bella's club to be a racer here at Anna's, because of what they said about you online? The question stunned the reporters but totally made sense. No way they were gonna miss that scoop. One pressed on, then, that driver in the video, was it you, William? William, did they force you out with their antics? As reporters fired off questions, Bella and Gary could only stand there, faces red, unable to counter. Because they knew, deep down, the person in the video was indeed me. In their questions, the reporters had already unofficially sentenced Gary and Bella. After a breather, Bella nervously tried, mistake, pure mistake. That night, Gary did drive my car and it's possible William drove later, so? Her reasoning faltered, clearly out of ammo. I couldn't help but laugh. Oh, didn't Bella and Gary skip the club that night? Can you drive a car from afar? That would be something new for me. The crowd burst into laughter. Bella's face went beet red as she looked down, lost for words. Even the reporters eyed Bella and Gary with disdain. Bella suddenly shot me a look, silently pleading me to stop. I gave her an amused look, staying silent. My attitude finally made her realize something. Softening, she said, "William, had I known you were this good, we misunderstood you. Don't be mad. I even saved the navigator spot for you." Everyone looked my way. I chuckled lightly. My skills are my business. I owe you nothing. Turning to Bella, "I'm better than you. Why'd I want to navigate for you? Who do you think you are that I'd ever want that job?" With that, I turned, leaving with Anna. Bella was stunned, while the reporters surrounded her, picking up the earlier thread. Reality hit her as she chased after me. Ready to go after them, Gary was stopped cold by her look. Bella ran up, grabbing my arm. Anna stepped forward, but I gave her a reassuring nod before she left. Bella, holding on to me, looked at me desperately. "William, you'll come back, right?" I looked at her sarcastically. "Where I go has nothing to do with you, right? What do we even have? Did you think I'd come back? Bella, what am I to you exactly? A plaything you call whenever you feel like it? Don't forget we have no connection." "No, it's not like that. Didn't we agree you'd wait for my confession?" Bella said, gripping my hand tightly. Finally, she realized I really didn't feel the same as before. For real this time, I told her we're done. For 10 years, I waited for her to confess. She always thought she had me in her grip. But today, she saw I won't wait anymore. I really don't love her now. Bella was panicking. "And no, it's not like that. Didn't we agree on this? How can you just stop loving me? Weren't you waiting for me to confess? Why not wait now, why?" Bella shouted, pushed her away. She tried to come at me, so I slapped her hard. "Bella, enough." She fell to the ground, pleading, "William, will you really just leave me? You never went violent on me before. In the past, I wouldn't have laid a hand on her. I used to care so much if she felt even a little pain. But now?" I raised my hand against her. "Sorry, but you wouldn't let go, so I had to." I said, "We're over. The moment you proposed to Gary, you should have seen this coming. I can't wait for your confession anymore. Stop fooling yourself." Bella looked at me, desperate. "It's not like that, William. It's not. How about I confess now?" Those are the words I waited 10 years for. I used to want to hear them so badly. But now they just sound ridiculous. Late love is worth less than dirt. Such a confession doesn't interest me. Ignoring Bella sitting there, I walked away. Gary pretending to be me blew up online. Bella's support for Gary criticizing me did too. Soon enough, they were getting trashed everywhere on the internet. Gary got kicked out of the club for misconduct. Bella, with her skills, wasn't booted, but she had her share of backlash. The online hate was unbearable for her. People accused Bella of mistaking a jewel for a mere pebble. Somehow, Bella got my new number and kept calling me using club colleagues' phones. "William, could you speak up for me online? They're only after me because of what you said. Help me, will you?" Gary's kicked out and I dumped him. "I've really thought it through. I want to be with you. I want to confess. William, could you give me another chance?" I hung up without a word. I spent my days at the club practicing until Gary showed up. That day, I was practicing like usual. "William, get out here. It's your fault. Bella dumped me, and my career is ruined." I came out when I heard him shouting and saw Gary storming in, Bella behind him. "I already told you, William has nothing to do with us breaking up. This kind of behavior just makes me dislike you more," Bella told Gary. Gary saw me and pointed. "How can it not be him? If it weren't for him, you wouldn't have left me. What did he do to charm you?" Bella slapped him. "Shut up." I chuckled at the scene. "Keep your issues away from me. Talk it over in private, just you two." "But I'm here to help you because I knew Gary was coming," Bella quickly denied. "Don't get me wrong." I glanced at her. Staying away would be the real help. I've got nothing to hide. I don't fear Gary showing up. But you? Didn't you claim Gary was your prince? Now you won't even claim him? You go wherever benefits you, huh? Makes me sick. Bella looked at me, astonished. "How can you think that about me?" I sneered. "How should I think of you? Still let you fool me? Wait for your confession? It's too late. I don't want you anymore." Pointing to Gary, I said, "This fool likes you. Why don't you go with him and leave me out of it? If you keep involving me, I'll call the cops. My words utterly defeated Bella. She looked at me with red eyes. Is it really impossible? I nodded. Suddenly, Bella charged at Gary like a maniac. It's all your fault. Why'd you have to show up? If it weren't for you, I would have confessed to William already. We'd be together by now. Her punches and kicks rained down on him relentlessly. I watched coldly and called the police. When the cops came, Bella was still furiously hitting Gary. They struggled to pull her away. By then, I had already left. Bella believes I just haven't forgiven her yet. Stubbornly, she thinks if she wins another F1 title then confesses, I'd accept her. She started training like crazy. Every day, she uses unknown numbers to text me. William, wait for me. I'll confess once I win another F1 championship. William, since you stopped being my navigator, training feels empty. I miss you so much. William, I keep training because I want to win an F1 trophy just for you. William, please wait, alright? Every single number got blocked after one text. But Bella just kept trying. This kept happening until the F1 race. When I ran into Bella at the track, she came right up to me. William, wait for me. I'll confess to you once I win the F1 championship this time. I promise I won't make you wait again. I looked at her blankly. Stop being so stubborn. Also, you're not winning the F1 championship again. Bella shook her head. I will. Wait for me, wait for me. I took the first place in the race without any suspense. Bella's eyes looked empty as she stared at me. Why, William, why? Why did you come in first? Why did you ruin my chance to confess to you? I once gave you a chance, and now, as long as I'm here, you'll never get the F1 championship. Just let it go. You'll never have another chance. With that, I turned and walked away. Bella refused to accept it and got back in her car. She kept shouting, I can do it, I have to beat your record. She drove around the track like she was possessed until suddenly, another car sped towards her. Everyone was shocked, watching what happened. A loud crash. I didn't look back, just walked away fast. I later found out it was Gary. He hated Bella and wanted her to pay for it. He chose to take her down with him. But none of this matters to me anymore. My road ahead is much longer.